a Jet on this map, the defensive power, I think on defense, Chamber gives you so many more abilities, like play deep back towards yellow. There's not a timer on your teleport, so you're much more free to sort of camp out in those positions, whereas Jet almost encourages you to play a little bit more aggressively, especially like pushing down towards A. Do you go for like a quick updraft play onto Belt or something like this? Or do you play Minecraft? I thought this was Valorant. It's a little bit different starting off this game. But not too much distinct differences in the comps besides that. But regardless, we're expecting to see a lot of B hits with these comps.
And waiting on the other side will be Juliano. Potentially the point on this, but it will be joined by Mary as well. Klaudia, a couple of brave steps forward. Trying to play a little ahead of the utility potentially, but Mary all too aware. Going to deny Claudia's progress. And now give away the game pretty much here. Smurfette has to be warded away. Wall goes up, and the plant next on the docket. Something they'll be looking for here.
Yeah, also we're able to put a Killjoy molly down on that one. So again, the wall is just being knifed, traded back and forth. This Viper wall does have a few more seconds left to buy some time. Allow them to gather themselves, and it's possible that Roxy goes for a late reflank down to 2, but it's going to be very late. The retake's already in progress.
Certainly is. aNNja doing absolute wonders here. 3 kills. And now Mimi all alone. 3 players to find, and you're getting another man.
Wow.
Big impact.
As well, so you let Smurfette sort of go out, go a little crazy. Do you have the option of a resurrection? It's a great position to be in.
Yeah, Mary trying to back away from this. Try to play a little bit deeper, but you're going to have that owl drone. At least getting the early kind of information. Wall goes up. Quite telling, and quick reactions. Now, the purchase on the other side, it is just a frenzy and then classic, so nothing else really to write home about. It's a very light purchase, and the picks are out of place. Enough to be indicative of a player there, and Smurfette doesn't need too much encouragement, should I say, to go for that shot. So, down to 4 now, and already the post-plant set up in position.
It's going to be hard to break that again. I think Roxy's going to look for a lot of these reflanks, by the way. Maybe not in this round. Not going to risk if there is a late flank on the opposition, but retake wall is now up. But mollies are good enough to just stall out 4 forever. If you plant with this spike, or with this composition, like, you can't lose. Like, what is going on here? It's just not possible. Even with the retake wall, the utility just absolutely too punishing.
Yeah, 2 Spectres. Not too bad at all, and of course Smurfette does have the Headhunter as well, so kind of throw a potential Guardian into the mix. And a different look this time, going to be adjusting towards middle now.
Yeah, hard to find lurk timings through middle, because against the Killjoy, you're just going to run to the alarm and the turret setup here almost every single round. But regardless, can break that up and create some pressure. Juliano, though, playing pretty deep is going to be good, as Mimi finds a kill somewhere.
Through the wall?
That was just a spam kill?
I think so.
Just spam tube. Okay.
And it's made of paper. So, why not? It worked out. A little top up on the health. But Guild not liking what they've seen there. And it looks like they're maybe exploring the A site. Now, Glance gets a glimpse. And notes Roxy, but doesn't actually fall off this. And, yeah, I think Roxy caught off a little bit by that, expecting them to fall away. Glance still up here. What? How is Glance getting away with this?
She's up there, guys. I don't know. You would have heard the drop sound, I imagine. I don't know if she shot a bullet or something to try and mask it. I don't know. Well, yeah, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, I suppose. Doesn't really matter, though, as Guild almost certainly toasted in this bonus round, and the flanks have already come in as well, so they are trapped in on this A site with the shock darts coming in as well.
You do want to keep 5 standing, though. That is obviously not possible anymore. 4, not bad. Clean enough. They knew they had to stabilize the economy, so limited risks being taken, it looked like, by G2 there, not overheating a little too much, trying to be very cautious in this, because you need those rifles going in, and they will retain 4 of those. So the first real purchase going to come out from Guild here, which should be actually pretty robust.
Pipes, get a quick ult down, and that's very clearly not the idea from Guild. They want to go over towards the B side, although there are options for Roxy to find a good timing. When you hear someone running away through this Viper ult as the hit starts coming in on B, Roxy can trail that player and try to get deep into the defender spawn.
Do they still Aldrin? Do they still try and make sure they clear Juliano correctly? Oh, and she's going to be dead to rights. Falls off it after trying to go for that initial pick off the back of utility, which wasn't a bad shout, potentially. But left on their own.
It's a perfect example of how Jet is weaker than Chamber on defense. Chamber's just out of there. Jet
Very true.
still has to run somewhere.
Very, very true. And getting 2 picks at the start of the game, you've got Roxy just clearing through the site. It's on glance.
And again, that's all the information, right? You hear the Viper running away, the Viper ult comes down, and you're ready. Although now this Viper somehow in mid cutting down the rotation. Spike has been able to escape, and we're just trading spots. Somehow Guild are in both spawns at the same time with Roxy and Klaudia.
Big shot from Mimi, though, to punish Klaudia for being sat by spawn like that. It's not out of the woods just yet. It is a 2v3, and we look at the post plants, there's still utility. So, but the positions aren't playing to them. There was a chance that could have gone so far south. But Petra now at 1v2.
Do we have lineups from Boiler as Killjoy? No. Okay, good. I was about to say, we have 4 mollies, and Roxy was really liking to walk over towards Boiler, so they do have the utility to stall out almost indefinitely, but not the best angles to actually do it. Probably gonna have to take some fights, and Petra does find that. Also sees the molly thrown out from that left side, so knows exactly what's going on, and I don't think these mollies are perfectly connecting.
And not, but Roxy knows that. Heads up play to get over there just to make sure that Petra would not get the defuse going, because as you noted,
there's left, and then you sort of wait 15 seconds or something, wait to see if that lurk is going to come in. That could have potentially caught out Roxy, but that lurk was just perfectly timed for Roxy. The full rotate came out and was sort of necessary with those players falling too. So now G2 backs against the wall. Nothing really to work with in this one except a Killjoy molly to stall out time, because the whole gang is running over here to try and fight 5 players on 5 before the spike even goes down.
Yeah, there's a lot of utility in the way, though. aNNja's got to be really careful about this. But that's good work from Smurfette. Crowbar opening the site towards Petra. Good trade for Mimi. They still have site control, though. This is not one just yet. And bear in mind, you probably noticed it in the background, Juliano did, I believe, invest the knives. Now, at this point, gets himself a rifle. Mary gets removed, and Guild tempering the pace a little bit here and then readdressing the site. Juliano is in danger, will be forced to swing. Doesn't actually go down on the first try, but the second's good enough for it. And Glance now, already noted. And yes, Klaudia low, Smurfette low, but they should be fine. Plenty of players in Guild carrying on. This is huge for them. Again, great start here. And G2 not...
But if the defense has a Killjoy ult, you just lose the round if you can't break it. It forces you to fight forward into it. So having that Sova ult, saving that into the post plant is going to be very critical to breaking that out so that G2 can't just get a free defuse off in that late round situation.
Roxy getting a couple of audio cues here to play with. Probably going to note that Petra was pushed up. See if she gets a fair fight on it. She does. No, it's not clean, but it does work in her favor in the end. And Juliano's operator did go off in the meantime, so they also note this. There's a lot of information garnered very early on, but it's going to be 5 players coming towards Juliano. This is a tough scenario to be in. Great adjustment. Roxy down, gets to keep her life as well.
Players working up towards 410, trying to find something, and a resurrect does come through, so all of a sudden, round very winnable for Guild if they can actually get this spike down, still have the wall and the Viper's pit for the plant, but aNNja's going up and over, down and around. What is happening? Glance shoots her in the back of the head. I loved the enthusiasm from aNNja, but the timing just does not work out. Too many players watching her pathing.
Now, can Mimi, Glance, and Juliano get anything from this? The luck from
Every
Roxy
time.
is filthy. It's just rinse and repeat, but it works wonderfully. Mimi from up above won't note the player down below. Yeah, they're struggling here, and Roxy's flank works out well. And it's going to be just Mimi on the rope, left out to dry. And Guild striding through this game. There's not been a stop yet from G2. That was the first real look with the operator. It did not really find as much as it wanted. And at this point, Guild are running through the game.
And the crazy thing, too, is the Guild lurks, like Roxy in particular, exploded G2 previously on Icebox. I think that's why they changed their comp and decided to introduce the Killjoy as well as the... well, I guess they lost the Chamber, but introduced the Killjoy in here to give them another form of flank watch, something like this. But it's not just Roxy lurking through mid at the start of the round, taking position. She does that. She's also done the full A-walks. Whenever there's a plant on site, she puts down one molly and then full rotates to late lurk through mid. And because she has that molly on site, she always has that extra time to stall it out. It is so good, and G2 have no answer. Their only answer is going to be, I think, this. Multi-flanking. Shut down the post-plant util. Shut down the late-round flank by putting multiple members in. Now, with the pistols, probably not going to happen, but that is the right idea, and I think G2 need to invest in that multiple times to try and shut down Roxy.
You're going to need to. And they're going to need to start doing it soon, because 5-1 is a big scoreline. Guild probably already feeling pretty confident about this. Coming in at this sort of scoreline, we know that G2's attacking side is some of their biggest strengths, but still, they need some rounds to play with here if you want this to be a competitive last map. And it may not be Roxy. This time it's going to be Ness. Flank comes in, Roxy's there in kind, and it's shut down. Guild going through the motions here. Not
Lurk timing, it's a bit too risky. It's a bit too coin flip for me. And I think that having some kind of multiple pressure, like if you can push up in B main right now with Mary and Juliano, instead of falling back off site like they are, that could have given them another option. But the problem now is that Ness, peeking it out, well, does Ness take space in B? No, Ness falls back. Does Ness go all the way with the team or just hold in mid and wait for that late reflank option? That very well could be the possibility, and I think that is going to be a late round option for Ness again.
On the timing on this drone, it's a nightmare for them and a dream for Claudia. Cracks open the site, 2 entries, perfect timing, and G2 are in tatters. They have not got an answer. They timed out for this round. And it's all coming up Guild here. Looking like 7 could be inevitable. Big impact from Mimi, though. Gonna find Roxy. It's all very cognizant of the flank, but with their own clear through middle with Juliano, they should be on the money with this, but not gonna hit the shot. Ness outdoes Juliano, and they're now down to 2. Mimi and Mary have no say in the matter. This is just an absolute shutdown and a shutout.
Not today, not versus them, not versus Guild on Icebox. And at this point, I feel like one of the only options G2 has is get aggressive early with the Jet. Maybe an early belt play, early B main play, something like this. But even then, the scouting has been very efficient from Guild, always using the Sova drone before they walk into that first point of contention. And Roxy with these belt lurks, been doing 2-3 times, always good for hers.
This time forced away eventually, but she already had her impact. She found that first frag. Now, aNNja and Roxy are a little low, so a touch vulnerable, but no weapons recovered just yet. So even with all these ults and all the goodies that G2 have outside of a weapon, that's the one thing they're missing. And a correct read from at least a couple of the players here. Glance is looking for that first shot on the cross, potentially. Doesn't get it. So they get their shot towards the plant now. Wall gonna go up. Utility invested, but the timing will be favorable towards Guild. They still have 40 seconds to play with. No big stress on the plant, and nothing to really stop it.
Yeah, there's going to be that late reflank. Look at Roxy, probably running all the way around that. For a moment, Mimi was watching that angle, but she has to be called in for this. It's a great drone to spot out this forward position of aNNja. The swing is there, but the rifle is not. aNNja's going to win that out, and the flank is actually canceled by Roxy. Just playing full numbers, not willing to give a gun over into G2's hands, and there is just no way back in for Petra. Mimi's been able to salvage an operator somehow, and we'll be carrying that into the next. But that is just one small victory for G2 and a slew of defeats.
Absolutely. Guild now thriving. This scoreline's going to be 8-1. This is somewhat unheard of sort of territory here. And Mimi's had to show her hand. Will she get chased down? Let's see if she can keep that operator here. Knows that these angles are no longer safe. Forced to fight and forced to lose. Operator now gone. It does not go back into the other team's hands, but they're away with this one. We dive in once again.
Okay, Juliano, quick updraft onto pipes. I do believe Roxy heard it, because it wasn't a zipline play. That was just a straight up updraft. I do believe, taking forward position, but Guild are not really messing. And again, it seems like a few times you've seen Juliano move forward, no one's there, and it's an instant fallback. It's a wall in mid very early on from Mary to stop a potential lurk, but maybe G2 don't realize how late these lurks have actually been coming in. It's not one player camping there and then activating late. It is a player that hit the site and is reflanking later on. It's a perfect position when the wall falls down for Klaudia to get a kill, and she is pushing forward. The aggression is insane.
Oh, they're feeling themselves. The confidence is just bubbling up. Perfect. Glance still trying to put up a fight, but they still have ults to depend upon, and they still have Roxy. 2 kills. Glance and Juliano down. Trade comes in. It's all going their way now. 9-1. It ain't stopping.
Just one of the best you can imagine the last few days. Always showing up when the team is needed. The whole team stepping up as well. Playing off each other so perfectly. And now, in near perfect fashion, annihilating G2. G2 have nothing. 4 pistols and 1 round in 11 to their name.
Progress being made. Claudia heating up. just taking names now. Confidence over brimming. They just seem like they can't lose a fight or lose a round. Juliano does connect a shot with the Sheriff, but at this point, it feels inconsequential to the outcome. Ult gets invested, plant goes down, and yeah, Mary gets a shot at things, but again, it's just a tag. Roxy's still alive on 40 HP. And where is that next opportunity going to present itself? Well, it doesn't, because the lockdown comes in.
Last player standing.
It's just heartbreaking. Giuliano's been the hero before, but you can just feel the hope draining out of her as the lockdown buys 3 more seconds. There's still a pit to work through. Claudia comes out of it. I mean, Guild aren't even... They're playing loose now.
This is getting tense now. Juliano desperate to change outcome. Shot goes awry. It's not what she wanted. And there may be no escaping this. I'm trying to bait the movement, but does fall off this anyway. Looks for a new angle to play with, but it's looking like clutching at straws here. It feels inevitable. The Guild just keep powering on. Shots coming through and back and forth on the wall. First time Guild have been really tested early in these rounds now.
Using tools to clear away, defensive Killjoy comes on out, and Claudia doesn't even have to use the ultimate. They can just rotate off of this site, save that Sovolt for the post plant, but there is a Viper they have to work through. Glance. It's been such an effective anchor for G2. She has to win this to give them a chance going into the next half. She's good for 1, but falling down, it's a couple of kills traded back for Guild. The Roxy lurks are unstoppable, but it's Mary to shut down this site hit.
Still 3 standing. Still no plant to be coming in just yet. Petra has ult if required. And the spike goes in. Not seeing that being denied, it's a fake. Second bite of the cherry, but Roxy still waiting. Outdone. Petra gets it dead, and now it's down to 2. Claudia still alive.
4v2. Huge resurrection coming in. No threat of a flank. There's still a Sova ultimate, but they can force the plant to come in very quickly, giving a fight over. It's traded out onto Ness. 3 versus 1. Claudia's good for the first, but Mimi trades it on through. And G2 barely sneak out a second round at the close of the first half.
Is 2 gonna be enough? This map.
Oh, yeah. And hey, they almost mounted the comeback on Ascent this time. More attack-favored composition, certainly, with this Jet. Trying to capitalize on the verticality early on in rounds, especially when you work over towards that B site. But we'll see if Giuliano can be completely unleashed. Sheriff in hand, calmly peeking into the A site currently, but Guild are playing off-site. Just going to play Denial with the utility that they have.
This is precarious stuff for Mary. Wall invested now. Couple of shots coming through. Claudia will be forced away slightly. Is the plant going to be safe? No,
wait, they're going over.
Wall. The counter wall up. aNNja with a challenge. And Guild just flooding the site, pouring on in and destroying G2. It's 11 for Guild. And I cannot believe the counter wall crushes them.
Heartbreak for G2, thinking the site belongs to them. aNNja says, no, no, no. We're coming, cancels the plant as well. Makes an X directly in the middle of site. And then, who better on Icebox than Roxy to finish it off with a 3K on the wide swing. G2 are obligated to force into this round, or else let Guild get to 12. And yet it's 3 Sheriffs, and it's a glass cannon Spectre for Giuliano.
The first team to truly threaten the crown here. Guild finally doing this. It's not over yet, but it's certainly looking like it might be soon. Mimi the first to draw blood in this round, truly, taking down Claudia. But even with this force, it is a long and arduous road back into this game.
The stall util on B. Alarm bot turret to give the info on top of 1 Killjoy molly on the ground. Ness can shoot out another of hers as well. 55 seconds you feel like is enough. And yet, G2 going to be hard to force their way in here. The wall already being broken down and Giuliano feeling the pressure. She has to be the hero for her team. Who expects a lurk like this? Certainly not Guild. She's going to wait. She sees 1, she sees 2. That is the opening G2 desperately required.
A little bit of light in the dark. And that is gorgeous.
Who is she?
Juliano.
Insanity!
That was
Now it's back to a similar setup. Juliano and Mimi tag teaming over towards A.
But Guild can be aggressive. They've got so many rounds to play with. They can get a little weird and wonderful. Mimi, does she re-clear this? Already forcing one player away. It actually almost sets up another player into motion. Do not forget about aNNja. Tucked in this position. Only a classic, though. But Juliano, once again, taking the forward position. Ness.
Oh, no.
It's the one to find Juliano, and once again, not cleared. There's the threat from the depths. aNNja punishing Mimi. And now we're in a 3v3. It is not clear-cut. This is not comfortable. And it's Roxy of all players who's been sharp as attacked on this map. And now, can she do any more damage? Finds an individual player. Doesn't get the shot she wanted. Mary caught off unawares, but it's fine. Plant should be coming in.
And importantly, Klaudia did not recover a rifle over there towards A. So aNNja has the Spectre, no armor though, and Mary Phantom in hand, making quick work of Klaudia. aNNja does have a wall, but hard to with the slow, with the position revealed. And only a Spectre in hand. Yeah, she's going to be flushed out with utility. And G2 are not going to go quietly.
No. Finally digging their heels in. It felt like we were waiting for so long. It just... But still missing pieces. You've still got the Bulldog. You've still got the Spectre. Not so perfect yet.
I really wish Juliano had traded off her gun to either Glance or Petra. Has access to the knives, but she just wants to take fights. I mean, she was the hero that got them their third round. She's the one been entering for them.
Do they check this corner? It's brazen.
I think so. I think so.
Absolutely do. Juliano, the checklist is pretty well constructed, even drawing the attention from Klaudia. Should set up for the trade. It does. Mimi's there. Lovely work towards the site. Nice synergy again. This is something that we credited G2 before, and something else that we credit is Roxy always being a danger. Gonna find two. Make this maybe possible. Ness and aNNja now with a real shot at something. Let's see what they can make of it.
Full post-plant util for G2, but it does appear that Mimi's trapped herself on site, playing directly flush with that wall, now backing away just a little bit as that wall gets broken. No player on rafters to threaten her from above, but aNNja has to come around this corner. Has to clear this green box. Not the most simple thing to do, and Mimi's gonna find that. Ness trades it out. It's a one-on-one, and Glance barely wins it out.
Massive challenge for G2 to overcome. And of course for G2, we then discussed the flip side of the coin is you got to keep this clean. And there's a stack, and Klaudia is at the helm of it, taking every challenge possible. Gonna put down some more shots as well and get a couple more connections finally cleared. But initial damage and a whole lot of information found.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This re-push back over towards A, but check out the positioning of Roxy. Not peeking early from jail, but has the option. Here's footsteps, has an opportunity to swing when she so desires. How diligent are G2?
You should run.
Very, very diligent now after being caught off by aNNja in past rounds, by Ness pushing up a little here or there. They've got to be going through that protocol list meticulously. Excellent trades on the site, and they will be fine. 3 standing, not the crispest of rounds. I'd like maybe 4, 5 if you want to start talking about the comeback, building those financial...
I 100% agree, but recall the first half when I talked about that Killjoy ult. There's no Sova ult from G2 to cancel that out, so a B retake would look great for a Guild, and I think that's maybe the read with G2 going over towards A, where they can push forward, they can play forward, 4 screens control. If that ends up going down, or fall back in the post, a little bit more room to work with. And Juliano has been so effective on these entries. This time, though, lots of Killjoy util, Viper util she has to work through.
But I also like what they're doing, sitting at the back by rafters a little more. They've respected Juliano enough, right, that you can't now just kind of sit somewhere in between. The lockdowns come in, though. They've drawn this out, but they still commit towards it. They've got a minute to play with. They don't have to. They can still peel away, which is what they're doing. But they didn't hold much of a default. They didn't explore much of the rest of the map, but aNNja is. This is very bold. They can prop themselves up towards Nest if they fancy and hold the entire site. Allow freedom of this rotation, this overreaction almost towards B.
Gilder's so fast. Already 3
Roxy.
players B, 1 in mid. Roxy could cut them off underneath tube if that's where they go. The smoke is down. They don't have that for 8 seconds, but she gets a little over eager, and Mimi is holding the angle. It's an A split. No, it's not even an A split. They're just going 5 through mid into A. 1 lurk with Juliano.
It's on
But
aNNja.
are they prepared for aNNja all the way back in Nest?
Ult's come in. Claudia's posting it. That should be a player dead. No, Mimi's getting
Mimi!
aNNja. How has G2 pulled this off? They had absolutely no right to this round. And Klaudia and Smurfette now left in no man's land. Very little opportunity here. Juliano just kind of chipping away at them. Klaudia wants to bite, but Juliano bites back, and Smurfette now would love to keep this operator, but it looks like that doesn't feel like a chance that she's going to be given. So much attention put her way, and G2 with the mid-rounding looking solid as a rock here. And now the alarm bells start to ring. This is when the game is afoot. This is when Guild have run a couple of those ults now. They've 5 rounds strung together. Money looking incredibly robust. You've got 8k starting to hit in, 7 on others. It is looking very, very solid. Ults, they've got 2 to play with, and 2 pretty critical ones too on the other side for Guild. This is Sheriff's Marshals and then 1 rifle on Klaudia. And Mimi has to be patient about this. And as soon as that utility gets dealt with, potentially by Smurfette, she should be able to catch this. But an early rotation. Let's see if Mimi decides to. No, gonna hear them backing away though. So, should be again pretty telling.
Pretty slow workup of G2. ANNja with the Sheriff. All right. aNNja was aware they were there with the broken Killjoy utility down on site. And that's an important res. You have to guarantee the round.
This is getting dangerous at this point.
Yeah. I think Mimi working back in A is the exact right call, though. They'd overstayed their welcome in B. The Sage Wall's broken. You're not getting an easy plant down. And you don't want to let those Sheriffs sort of go to work down long B. So A has been left open. A chance for Roxy to find a good timing here if she keeps tempting fate in mid. Juliano passing across. But the plant will come through. And the first kill to G2.
Yeah, good call. Nice mid-rounding again from G2, feeling that those rotations had hit. And you're right, that exploration mission that came out, I think it was from Mimi, really paid dividends now. We look to see where the threats can come from. Bear in mind, Klaudia does have the rifle. Little chip damage earlier, so the armor not sitting perfectly, but Klaudia now removed. It's unleashing Mimi to just rain in fury between her and Mary. It's now going to be teeing up for the...
We'll commit, 4 or 5 players into one, then rotate off. It does give you the option, if you lose a player early on, to get that res off, but it is an early push over and under pipes at the moment. Operator positioned up there. But still no commitment from G2, and I think that Mimi has been able to hear a lot of what Guild have done with this push.
So the attention then turns towards mid, right? So it's going to be Roxy against Juliano again. Now, Roxy's been solid as a rock, and again finds Juliano. First pick found, and no trade. No further threats to be generated from this either, so they get to fall away slightly here.
Whoa! 1 minute 5 seconds Sage Wall. Look at that, A main. Right on top. I've never seen anything like that, but it's gonna last for forever, and they're forced into the meat grinder. Ness is here for 2 kills. She's been so good for Guild for so long, and the spike is locked down.
Okay, this is Petra needs to pull attention and allow Mimi the biggest flank of her life. Petra would love a kill here, but that's good. But there it is. Mimi got found. This is going to be 12 for sure. 5 standing for Guild as well. They got put under pressure, and they've come up with the goods they needed. 12 on the board.
For mid to kill Juliano. Once Juliano drops, G2 look just a little bit lost. And it's going to be back to those A hits Juliano's been so good at. No more of those mid lurks. But if they decide to abandon A, this time there's an op awaiting them in mid. And with that drone, it allows the forward step of Smurfette. She's going to hold this completely down on lock.
Lockdown going to come in. Should force them to respect this. Smoke should allow for a safe evacuation from the site at the very least. Has to fall off this one. Could facilitate the plant here. Should do. Yeah, finally on the site. Anything to deny it? No. So the plant goes down and they work early towards the wall.
G2 positioned pretty forward on site. Look where Mary is. Needs the break from Juliano. I love the position. Top 410. The kills are starting to rain in. G2, they're happening. And the lineups are here as well. Smurfette, the op to retake. It's not gonna happen. Mimi too good on the site. And road. Regardless, G2 are playing for the chance to win all 3 game changers, move on to an international event. They're going to be going there anyways, but it's the #1 as the top dogs. Here. For the chance to win everything, they have to win these next 2 rounds and move us into OT.
Couple more chances for Guild to close out as well, to take that spot away when it truly mattered. That's the first team coming out of EMEA. However, Smurfette, I don't know if this mid position got considered last time around. And this position from Mimi, well, this might pay dividends. Maybe not. The timing good for Roxy. Takes a little bit of damage on the way back through, but there's 2 players pushed up here. It's not just Roxy alone. Ness is here as well. Can Ness bail her out from this? Roxy is going to be forced to fight. Takes one with her, takes down Mary. Ness is a second. It's all coming up for Gil. Ness instantly invests the ult as well. She wants this one wrapped up, put a fork in it. This one could be done. Petra and Glance, the last 2 alive. Mid control has been lost. aNNja is on the case. These 2 players are going to have to do something immaculate. Forces aNNja away. Now options are open.
30 seconds left.
What do you do if you're G2? On one hand, you go into Ness. She has been unstoppable all day long, and she's in her pit. The other, early rotation from Guild. 2 players lying in wait, and there's only 18 seconds. They don't have a Sage Wall. They just have to plant this for free, and they're contacting, and they have no time.
Too little time, too few chances. 9 seconds now. The clock is their biggest enemy. Trying to get the plant through. It's a 1-for-1 trade. 5 seconds. I think it's all over.
There's no time!
Plants can do nothing about it. The plant's not going to happen. And Guild steal the crown from the queens of EMEA Valorant, picking up Game Changers Series 3 when it mattered most, aNNja. They finally do it.
Just absolute elation. Jumping up, it might be at 144p.